Hi, my name is Bernadette. I am known as the Happiness Maker, and there's a reason that title has followed me my entire life since I was 25 years old. I was on welfare raising a 6-year-old son. We lived in a dark basement with no windows, and I was looking for my first job. I had owned a used clothing store, and I had sold it looking to find real employment, get off of welfare. So I got my very first job. It was working for an electronic assembly. They did component parts. And the very first day on the job, I went in all excited, had benefits if I could only make it through probation. Little teeny squares, these screws going in these components, and I'm shaking and I can't do these little screws. And they tapped me on the shoulder and called me in the back room. We're sorry, this isn't gonna work out. We need to let you go. I was devastated. I had really low self-esteem, had never really held down a job. I had learning disabilities and I had a hard time any employment. So I'm driving down the road, leaving there, and I am crying. I can't do anything. I can't even hold down a job. Bent from losing my job to totaling out my car, their car, and I had no insurance. So they took me to the hospital for observation and released me. I went back to my dark basement and I decided to call my mom. And I said, would you take my 6-year-old kindergartner and pick him up after school for the weekend? I didn't tell her I lost the job. I didn't tell her I had totaled out my car. I just asked her to take my son for the weekend. And I decided I was going to take my life. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like a good mom. He'd be better off without me. So I'm sitting in that basement room, turning on the TV, getting drunk, drinking rum, solid rum, trying to get the courage up to overdose. And I turn on the TV and the news is on. And at that time, it was 1983. The Ethiopian famine was going on. This is where Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, Lionel Richie were, we are the world, we are the children. And they were raising money for food and medicine to be shipped to Ethiopia. So everybody in the world is watching the news. These Ethiopians had bones that small. Their arms were tiny. Their rib cages were filled, bones and skeletons. They were so weak they couldn't bat the flies off their faces. The flies were all over them. And they were told if they could walk a track of 100 miles, there would be food and medicine waiting for them. So the DV cameras are following them down the road, and they're carrying their children on their shoulders, dead bodies lined against the road. And they just know if they could get to this relief center, there would be help waiting for them. Well, they get there and there's nothing, no food, no medicine, just thousands of starving bodies. The Ethiopian government was Marxist regime, and they decided to starve out the northern rebels. The rebels would go into the villages and eat all their food. And the Marxist regime said, great way to starve out the rebels, we'll just starve out 500,000 people. And that's what they did. So here I am, Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'm 25 years old. And I'm listening to this news reporter and I'm getting drunk. I'll never forget what he said. He said, these people gathered here, half of them will be dead by morning. They have no blankets. What? They have no blankets? And they'll be dead? I counted the blankets on my bed. 1, 2 blankets on my bed. 1, 2 blankets on my son's bed. And I owned a throw blanket. I owned 5 blankets, more than these people had. And it suddenly dawned on me what I had. I had fresh running water, flush toilets, wall-to-wall carpeting, and a 6-year-old who loved me. Totally changed my life forever. My challenge to each of you here today is to go in and count how many blankets you own. Thank you.